So it's been just over a week and I finally hit 100 miles on the Onsra Black Carve dual belt drive. Do me a favor, if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and click that subscribe button. We'll wait for you. Alright, thanks for doing that. It really helps me out. For everybody that has subscribed, thank you very much. So let's get into this. I'm going to go through a whole bunch of different categories and give my thoughts of the Onsra Black Carve and tell you if I think it was worth $1,400 that I paid for it. So the trucks on this board seem adequate for the board. They're really wide, which I really like. They're beefy and they seem like they're going to do a great job. Now the bushings in this board are set up to be more of a carving board, at least with my weight. I weigh 200 pounds and I normally carry around about a 10-pound backpack. So somewhere in between 210 and 220 pounds. With these bushings, if I want to try to get anywhere close to the top speed, I have to crank them down all the way, and I still can't reach the top speed. The fastest I've gone on the board was 32 miles an hour, and that was plenty fast for me. So if you're a heavier rider, or if you want to go more quickly in a straight line, maxing out the speed, I highly suggest you put some new bushings in this. Now I bought a set of 95A bushings, and they are softer than the stock bushings. I don't know what the stock bushings are, but if that helps you out at all, I would start at 100 if you want stiffer bushings. I really like the deck of this board. I wasn't sure if I was going to like it or not, seeing that I like more of flexible decks, but this has just enough flex, especially on the tires that I have on it. It's really comfortable. I really like the concave curve in it. I think it's really good, and it's withstanding everything that I could throw at it. The paint on the outside, I've seen some videos say that they wish that they would have left it just a wood color. It's my understanding that this deck is both wood and fiberglass. It has a layer of fiberglass on the top and on the bottom, and I think that's why it's painted, because all you would see in fiberglass. The grip tape really well done. It's holding up just fine, as you can see in the videos that are showing. Nothing's wrong with the grip tape. I will say that the squishiness of the grip tape, it's a love-hate relationship. I like that it absorbs some of the vibration and stuff, but when I'm really carving really hard, I can feel it flexing a little bit underneath my feet. So it's kind of a payoff. It's more comfortable, but it does move around underneath my feet a little bit. The motors and belts have held up just fine for the 100 miles. Now, when I got the board straight out of the box, I learned from my other belt drive board that I went in and I took the set screw. There's a gear on the motor and there's a set screw that holds it onto the motor. I took that out right away. I put red Loctite all on it and I put it back in. I haven't had a problem with the motors or the clicking noise that you hear from some belt drive boards. I haven't had any issues with those. The batteries seem adequate for the board. I would like a little bit more amp hours, or whatever you want to call it, to make the battery last a little bit longer, and we'll get into that when we get into the wheels and pulleys. But for the way that the board is configured and everything else, I can't say anything bad about the batteries. I do like them. It does take my board the full 4 hours to charge, even with 20% left. So it is a longer charging, even with the 3 amp charger. Now let's get into the tires real quick. So my opinion of the tires is definitely a love-hate relationship. So I love the tires when I'm not going too far. When I'm just riding around and carving, these tires are so smooth and so grippy that they just hold the road. And I'm going over sidewalks and bumps and everything else, everything that I could throw at the tires within reason, they've taken, and it's very extremely comfortable. Now with that, there's a trade-off. Because the tires are soft and they absorb all the vibration from the road and they're so grippy, they do not get the distance that I'm hoping for. So if I just go on a normal straight ride, it's right around 14 miles with hills in my weight. But if I am carving and just cruising along at 10-15 miles an hour and trying to carve as hard as I can on the board, I'll probably get about 10 miles, 12 miles out of the board. I just go around my neighborhood doing that, and I normally return to my house at about 9 miles, and I have 20% left on the battery. So if you're really carving and really digging in with these tires, it's gonna drain the battery. Now let's talk about the gearing. I think this board is geared a little high. It tops out at, supposedly according to the website, 35 miles an hour. I've had it up to 32. That's as fast as I'll ever go on it. I did it once just to say I did it. Now, with that being said, it struggled a little bit. Well, struggle isn't the right word. It's not as hard accelerating off the line as I would like, and the brakes aren't as hard as I would like, especially in a panic situation where I was going to blow through a stop sign and now I have to put the brakes on really hard. They're not as strong as I would like. I talked to Fabian about this, and his recommendation is anybody that is considering buying this board to reach out to him first. These gears work very, very well for somebody that weighs 160 pounds and less. If you weigh 160 and less, I think that these gears with the 115, the 40 tooth pulleys with the 115 wheels are going to be just fine for you. If you're 170, 180, or even above that, like me, 200, I don't think that you're going to be as happy with the 40T pulleys as you would be with the 45. I have a set of 45T pulleys on the way. I also have different wheels. I have smaller wheels and bigger wheels. I have the cloud wheels and then the regular urethane smaller wheels. So I'm gonna continue to do reviews on that board. I wanted to do the first 100 miles with the way that it comes from Fabian, minus swapping out the bushing for about 10 miles just to see how they were. For off pavement, the tires that come with it, the 115 rubber tires, they do okay in the grass and they do okay on packed dirt. I think you'll be fine riding it like that, but I would not recommend those tires if this is what you plan on riding almost exclusively. So if you're riding on concrete a whole bunch, but you got to cut across the park or you got to cut across somewhere in order to get to more concrete or more pavement, I think they'll be just fine for you. If you have a whole bunch of trail and you want to stay mainly on dirt and grass, I highly recommend the AT tires. Again, once they're available, I'll pick up a set and I'll do another review on the AT tires with those pulleys. Going up and down hills on the black Carve is what you would expect. It's great. So it goes up hills just fine, it goes down hills just fine. The brakes are plenty strong enough to slow me down or even bring me to a stop going downhill. I think that it handles hills very well. With that being said, again, I want to try the 45T pulleys in order to see if that makes a difference and makes it even better going up and down hills. Braking. I think that the braking is good. Don't get me wrong. There are times that I want to stop a little bit faster, a little bit harder, like I've already explained. But all in all, the braking is really good. It's what you would expect with any other board that doesn't reverse when it's braking. So this board does not reverse while braking. This board has a reverse function, but you have to come to a complete stop, hit the mode button twice, and now you scroll up just like you would to go forward, only you're going backwards. You come to a complete stop, hit the mode button twice again, and you can carry on forwards. So when it comes to braking, it'll bring you to a complete stop, but if you're on a downhill grade, you're gonna have to put your foot down. It's not gonna keep you there. So coming up to a red light, when you're trying to go across the crosswalk and there's that little bit of down slope into the road, you have to stop before you get to that, or else it will roll down into the road. You have to put your foot down. So comparing the specs on the website to what I'm seeing, all of it is within realistic expectation. If you go to Onsra.com, the specs that it says on the board are pretty realistic. Now the mileage with the rubber wheels, I'm seeing 14, but that's up and down hills and I weigh 200 pounds. So I don't have a place to ride in my area where it's just completely flat. I think that if it went completely flat, I would see more 16, 17 mile range, which with my weight, the 19 miles claimed on the website is within reason. The top speed, absolutely correct. I believe every mile per hour of it. So it says 35, I got it up to 32, the board still had more in it. I think Fabian does a really good job on being honest on both his videos and his website with this board. Now, with that being said, I also weigh, I'm guessing here, but about 50 to 60 pounds more than Fabian. So things that I'm doing with the board, he can't realistically test unless he gets a heavier rider or puts, 70 pounds of gear on his back. So seeing the little bit decreased mileage, seeing the little bit decreased acceleration and braking, that's to be expected. I think that it's great that he's offering different pulleys to help different weight riders out, or people with different riding skills or styles. So I'm going to gear it down and hopefully that helps me out. Now I do want to give a shout out to Fabian because I have yet to see any board manufacturer care about what some random dude who happened to buy his board and make some YouTube video says. He really does care. He's reached out to me multiple times. I've reached out to him multiple times, and it seems like he really cares about the experience that I'm having and the results that I'm getting from this board. So hats off to you, Fabian. I can't believe how good of a job you're doing with your customer service when it's just you. He's personally answered all of my emails, wrote back to me, and it's not just one-word answers or a quick sentence. It's in-depth conversation back and forth regarding the board. So what are my final thoughts? I am head over heels with this board. I am so excited and so happy that I decided to purchase this board. There are some downfalls with the distance and everything, but I'm willing to work through that in order to have this board. This board is extremely smooth. I cannot stress how good of a carving board it is. So if I was asked if I would, given the chance again, if I would repurchase this board for $1,400, I would say absolutely. Without a doubt, I would purchase this board again. If you've seen my other videos, I cannot say that about the WowGo. I would not spend $700 on the WowGo again. But for this board, I would definitely shell out the money and not even think twice about it. Tell me what you think in the comments. If you own this board, then let everybody know if you're as satisfied with it as I am. If you don't own the board and you're looking at buying one, let me know how I'm doing with these videos. What can I do to help you make a more informed decision? Whether that's to buy it or not to buy it. Let me know in the comments. How am I doing? How can I do better? What else would you like to see about this board? This is not the last video that I'm going to be making on this board. There are plenty more to come. So throw it down in the comments. Let me know what you're looking for, and I'll try to get to it.